fastest way to make money online passively or with print on demand is to take advantage of the free traffic in marketplaces. Now in this video, we're not going to be talking about fulfillment companies like Printful, which don't actually bring you any customers. The 15 websites in this video all have several 100,000 or millions of customers visiting every day with buyer intent, ranked by traffic in ascending order of popularity. So you have the potential to make money from the moment you upload. Now I'm willing to bet there's going to be at least one website you haven't heard of on this list, so stick around until the end so you don't miss any of them and find out which is the number one ranked on this list. Now it's got to be said that print on demand has changed a lot recently, mainly becoming more competitive, so as a POD seller myself, I'll also be giving you some tips and insight into the websites that I've had experience with. Let's go. Now Viral Style is first up. It lets you sell a range of custom printed clothing, accessories, and also pet products. Even though it's the website with the least traffic on this list, still has a decent 258k visits per month, bringing in $50 to $75 million a year. Now, the advantage of that is that it's not as competitive as some of the bigger websites on this list, so some sellers might find it easier to sell in their niche on Viral Style. They also have fulfillment services if you're selling on your own platform like Shopify, for example, but I've heard the products are not the best quality, so if brand reputation is top of your list, then I'd probably skip on this one. But just for making some extra cash and getting some more traffic, Viral Style, this website does the job. Next up is Design by Humans. They sell clothing, accessories, and art prints. A pretty solid 373k visits per month. They seem to have declined recently from over 400k. The rank's been declining as well, which is strange because you'd expect them to go up in Q4, so it could be a signal of increasing competition, but it doesn't necessarily mean anything. I guess we'll see in time. Still getting around $25 to $50 million a year though, so a lot of traffic, free traffic and money to go around as well. TeeFury lets you sell clothing, accessories, homeware, and all over prints as well. Has a few more visitors per month than Design by Humans at the moment at just over 378k, but it's only making $2 to $5 million a year, so maybe it's not as good for conversions. Nevertheless, still a decent sized POD marketplace to get into. Threadless.com lets you sell apparel, accessories, stationery, wall art, and home decor. Now, in terms of traffic, we're now getting into the millions territory, so they have 1.3 million visitors a month and bringing in $1 to $200 million a year, so pretty significant jump in terms of market size from the previous competitors we've looked at. Now, that revenue, if we compare to others on the list, which you'll see later, is kind of an anomaly, and it means their website converts really well. Threadless actually wouldn't be a bad option to start with in 2023. In my opinion, because for traffic, it's just in between the ranks and it's not as competitive as the next few. Now, Cafe Press, this is a really old website. It was founded in 1999. Hasn't really been doing badly since. It lets you sell pretty much same kind of products as other websites, getting 1.7 million visits per month, a couple more than Threadless, but it does bring in less revenue, around $75 to $100 million a year. I think it's the oldest website on here, pretty much the OG print-on-demand website. Spreadshirt, again, sells the typical apparel and accessory stuff. They also have kids and babies clothing and stickers as well. They also have a fulfillment service that links with partners like Shopify called SPod, but in terms of their marketplace, it brings in 1.9 million visitors and $1 to $200 million in revenue per year. Now, unlike the others on this list, it seems like their rank actually has been increasing recently, so definitely one to keep an eye on. Now, Displate is a pretty unique one on this list. They only sell decorative items like wall art and obviously their signature metal posters, as well as some small accessories like magnets. They get 5.6 million visitors a month and $10 to $15 million, which is actually pretty significant for just metal posters and some accessories, like, as I said, no clothing or anything like that. So it's a pretty specialized website. Next is Society6, and we're back to the standard print on demand stuff. They even sell furniture, which is pretty cool. Traffic wise, they're tied with Displate at 5.6 million visits a month, but they bring in a lot more money, $100 to $200 million a year. Definitely one to consider expanding into. Fine Art America focuses on wall art, obviously, but they do sell apparel as well. They've got 7.2 million visits a month and bring in $10 to $15 million a year, so definitely one to look at if you are artistic. Seems like the kind of stuff that sells well here is very artsy stuff that might have a harder time competing on other websites where people are generally looking for more text-based or design type stuff. Now, TeePublic is a website I've had some experience with. It's definitely possible to make money on. And if you want to see how much I made in my first year, there's a video on my channel where I show you the numbers after just like 50-ish uploads. Now, they got bought by Redbubble in late 2018, which is another company we'll talk about on this list, but they are pretty much still a separate entity from what I can see. More grunge stuff typically sells better here. Traffic wise, they're doing 8.2 million visits a month with $15 to $25 million revenue per year. I guess you'd expect more than that given the previous numbers we've looked at, especially, Society6 doing like over $100 million a year, but they always do these massive sales, like these site-wide sales, so I'm not really surprised. Now, Zazzle is best known for its wedding stuff. It's sort of like the print-on-demand version of Etsy. That's how I've always thought about it. They do sell clothing, accessories and home decor stuff as well. Threadless, Cafe Press and Spreadshirt are all pretty similar in terms of competitive performance, but this is our next big jump up because Zazzle brings in 17 million visitors a month and around $200 to $500 million a year, so pretty big jump there. Now, in terms of specialized print-on-demand websites, Redbubble is the king with a huge range of products, by far the best brand awareness and marketing. They're a public company traded on the Australian Stock Exchange, IPO'd in 2016 and exploded around pandemic time, but investors seem to have less faith nowadays, but that doesn't mean the company is going anywhere. Still got a pretty strong 30.5 million visitors a month and $200 to $500 million annual revenue, so they're doing pretty well. Now, if you've watched my channel for a while, you'll know I have some history with this company. I sort of made a couple $1,000s in my first year of uploading to this website, and if you want to know exactly how much and how I did it, then I have a video on that. Now, some specific insights: they do have some problems which are tag spamming. I think that's the biggest problem right now because they don't restrict their tags like most of these other websites. Plus, spamming of very low quality designs and intellectual property infringing. Plus, it's getting kind of competitive now because of the lower barrier of entry, but there are ways to get around that, such as keyword research, which again, I've made videos on, but just so you know. Now, these next websites are just general marketplaces that let you sell print on demand, among other things. So all these big public companies. Now, Etsy, I've talked about way too much recently. If you want to know anything about Etsy POD, just go to my channel. Basically, you connect a fulfillment partner like Printful, Printify, and then you can start making listings straight away. You can get 40 free Etsy listings using the link in my description and start selling for free. So almost 500 million visitors and over $1 billion annual revenue. If you want to know exactly how much they make per year, just go to the Etsy Investor Relations Center. Plenty to go around there. Now, we all know what eBay is, and you can sell print on demand here as well by connecting a production partner like Printful. It's got 716.5 million visitors a month, and again, like billions to go around every year. Nothing more to say, really. Now, if you didn't know, Amazon is the world's largest e-commerce marketplace, and there's actually 3 ways that you can sell print on demand here. So firstly is Merch by Amazon, which is their own print on demand platform, and you have to apply and get into that. I myself have been rejected many times from Merch by Amazon, but you might have better luck than me. I've heard people in the US usually have an easier time getting in than the UK, so I don't know. You can also sell in the same way as on eBay or Etsy via the Amazon Seller Central using Amazon FBM, stands for Fulfilled by Merchant, or you can use their KDP service to sell print-on-demand notebooks and low-content books, so you can actually get books printed. Obviously a beast in terms of traffic performance. I think they're like the 4th biggest company right now in the world in terms of market cap, so billions of visitors and billions of dollars. That's it for this video. Comment down below which website you'll try next and whether you've had any positive or negative experiences with any of these platforms, and I'll see you in the next one.